listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 276, Deep Purple equals 1 part 2. It's a lot of numbers. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where most children are accounted for, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Zip Code Matola.
Okay, so this is the state where the zip code was invented? Or is it the state where Ethel Merman is from?
It has to do with zip codes. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Zip codes. It's probably like, who's the inventor of the zip code? Johnny Zip Code?
Irving
Professor?
J. Zip Code? I don't know. Zip C Ode.
Is it where the zip code starts? Like the lowest number zip code?
I mean, it's a place that is so big it has its own zip code.
Oh, so, well, just the state has one zip code? No.
No.
New York? I don't know.
The Mall of America in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, of course.
It's so big it has its own zip code.
Zip code. The Mall of America.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Minneapolis, I do not go to the Mall of America. One of these days I'm gonna have to get there.
I've heard of it, never been.
No.
So, where's all right, so what about you? Where's all these kids?
Well, the kids were all I had trouble locating one before our last episode, as you remember, and then we had a late start because I had to find him.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're all scattered to the four winds, playing in various areas. So hopefully they're having a good time.
So Nate may still have 3 kids. We don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. By the end of today, who knows?
By the end of the episode, we may never know.
Yep. Well, folks, if you joined us on our last episode of the first half of Equals 1, you'll know that we're picking up where we left off. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back, rewind, or go to the last episode. Listen to that first, and then you'll hear part 2 of our feelings on the album after listening to it here. You can support the show a number of ways. You can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can buy some merch at our Etsy store, but most importantly, you become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal. $1 a month gets you access to lurker links to live stream episodes, gets you access to our rating spreadsheet, access to our patrons only Discord, and you can join the official Deep Purple Podcast Music League, where we compete against each other, and I always lose. And you know who always wins?
Who?
T-Bone Math.
Oh.
I've been in a couple leagues with him. He just dominates. The guy is a master. Not surprising given his music knowledge. But.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But it's fun. Every round has a theme, and it's like, this song has to be about this, or these are the criteria the song has to meet, and then you don't know who put in what song, and then everybody assigns points to the songs that they like the best, and the winner is always T-Bone.
Yeah. Well, and, I don't know why I would, I think I was guessing Rich.
Rich joined this round late, so he's pretty much mathematically eliminated. A few people join late, but if you're in there the whole round, who knows? Maybe he'll be an upset to a T-Bone. We'll see. All right. So before we get into the next stuff, a few things to announce. Our upcoming shows: meet Lady Starstruck at Tampa, Florida at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, August 15th for Deep Purple. If you're also in that area, let us know so we can communicate to her. August 22nd, Rich, Scott, John, and I will be at the Detroit, Michigan show, and the following night at the Chicago show, which is actually in Tinley Park. And then September, Glenn is coming back to Illinois, and in the UK dates are coming. And I know we'll have some potential UK meetups after that.
And somewhere between August 1st and 11th, meet Nate and his family somewhere in Rhode Island.
That's right. Should I give my parents' address?
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll be able. Well, I mean, come on now. Is depending on where you go, it'll be right down the damn street.
Yeah,
so
we could walk to your place from my parents if we wanted to. Yeah, and then speaking of patrons, if you want to get in on the third album, the self-titled Deep Purple album 1969 release, you can rate them if you are one of our patrons. The link is in Patreon, it's on our Discord, and you can join in the fun and also listen along to that episode if you choose. For like-minded shows, check out deepdivepodcastnetwork.com. And before we go any further, we'll have to thank our first level of patrons, our executive level patrons coming in at the in memoriam tier. We have Gerald, Jerry, Kelly, and family. At the $25 uncommon man tier, we have Ovis, Nakvi, and Purple Maniac. At the 16 pound, at the 15 squid tier, we have Alan.
All right. So just so you know now, the audio is fucked up for me. Telling you right now.
Yep, because I didn't click the stupid button that I have to click. Here, click the magic button. Bing. It's on now. Okay. At the 10 pound good doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan.
There we go.
At the turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Teal, God Mortensen, Mickelstein, Will Porter, PhD, PP, and Michael, don't call him Bradford Bagford. At the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans. And Peter from Illinois. And at the Hughes by 2033 tier, the one, the only, Fielding Fowler. He hits a higher note than the coyote. Just to put that out there. Okay. So here we are. When we last left you, we had listened to the song Pictures of You, which has that big kind of, or that kind of dreamy, nice Bob Ezrin-y intro into the next song, which in Spotify would bring you to Portable Door. But here, where does it bring you? It brings you to I'm Saying Nothing. I'm sorry, I'm Saying Nothing.
I'm saying nothing. I'm walking small.
Very sleazy, slow riff. I love that.
I've been too easy for too many years. Ain't been so dumb since I was wet behind the ears. So now my lips are sealed. I could never reveal just where I buried the gold. And the bodies never grow old. I'm saying nothing.
I love that, like, uncharacteristic
Yeah, that was very odd.
little synth helicopter coming through.
Yeah.
Saying nothing. Nothing at all.
It's a dirty song. Oh, I love that transition. To me, this is like one of those riffs that's just so perfect.
So also say that's a great guitar tone on the guitar solo, or good effect.
Nice switching off, yeah.
No, but it sounds like it's got a what's that effect where it's playing the lower and the higher octave together?
I like the octaver.
Octaver, that was it. Yep. I was just gonna say doubler. You know, the thing that doubles it. You know, the doubler.
I like how he does those little repeating licks. Like, it's very Bolin-esque in that he throws in like almost too many, but it's done perfectly. The organ's off the chain on this one.
I wish the listeners could kind of see how you went, like you just threw it out the window.
Oof, I like that. It almost distorts it. Then when it goes a boom boom, it feels like it's clipping almost, but in a very cool way. All right. Well, I'm saying nothing so that John can tell you how he's ranking the song. What do you say?
I can say something.
Something.
So I'll give this one a 3.
right.
I know you were really singing the praises here. This is I think the tempo is just a little plodding for me. I know that the intention is for this song to be slower, like the riff works as a slower riff. So I mean, I get that. But it's it just didn't really resonate with me as much. That being said, is that I did enjoy the bridge going into the solo section, and then the again, the dual soloing was just excellent. And Gillan sounded great on this as well. Just kind of showing his personality through the vocals, kind of doing a little bit. He's throwing a little bit of like stuff in there that he hasn't done in a while, like when it was either going into or coming out of like the bridge where he does the oh, he goes up like that. I love that because that's like a trademark of him. That's like, what he would do in the old days. And he even just kind of gave it a little kind of a gruff little wow in there, like later on in the song. Again, just showing he's not phoning in his vocal performances. So I even would go as far as to say this is probably on a recorded work, on a studio album, probably one of his best performances in years.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm going to give this one a 4.5.
I knew you were. I figured you were.
You could sense it. I love one of those riffs that you're just like, when it goes to the chorus, you're like, okay, fine, it's the chorus. And then when it goes back to it, you're like, yeah. It's like the chorus is almost just like, okay, fine, just let's get on with it. And I love that. I almost wish when they had come back to it that one time, like I was expecting him to do another one of those, where he just like croaks out like a crazy scream. I think it would have been awesome. But really great song. I dig it a lot. I think it's, and going from getting used to it as Pictures of Home going into this song, and it's so immediate. I almost thought, part of me was a little thrown off because it wasn't the transition I was used to, but then another part of me was like, it starts too soon. It's like everything starts at this, even the vocals. And that's another thing. Can we think of another Deep Purple song as an example where every instrument starts together? There's usually some sort of build up, but even the vocals, like the first beat of the song, I'm saying nothing. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Crazy. Love it. Great song. All right. Do we have anything else about this one? Let's see.
All right.
Well, all right. I don't see anything else. So that will take us to our, you know what?
What?
I'm a ding dong. After we recorded our last episode, I went upstairs and what did I see?
What?
A box. A big box. Which I presume is the album. So We're gonna have to
Oh,
open it
yeah.
up.
You friggin' dummy.
Yeah, I know.
We also
I
forgot to read patrons and do
Oh.
postcards from the edge.
We'll close out with Postcards from the Edge today. We opened with it on the one episode. We'll close with it. It'll be like a reprise. Okay.
Oh no, wait, did you do patrons? I forgot.
Yeah, I did patrons. I did
don't know.
two rounds of patrons. No, one round of patrons.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of packing material. Okay. So
Here, what you're listening to is Nate murdering the earth.
Okay, we've got a big collection of stuff here.
Oh, unboxing, folks.
It's like a little sleeve they put it in. Okay. Easier said than done. So we're going to clip this open. Preserve the bubble wrap for my next shipping. All right. Okay. So, oh, wow. It comes in like a box. I thought it was just going to be stuff loose. It comes in like a whole box here. If you can see that?
Oh, like a box set.
Yeah.
Nice.
It says, the great classic sound of Deep Purple on their new =1 limited box set. Only one box set contains the golden ticket. Ooh, your chance to attend every Deep Purple show on the =More Time tour. Holy crap. I hope I don't win it because I'll be like, oh man, I can't do that.
Well, you could pass it around like a doobie to the rest of us, you know?
Every patron could get pick a show or something. All right, so I'm gonna be careful opening this. And it's a cool box. It's a very big package here. Limited edition 2 LP gatefold, 180 gram, not 80,000 gram.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to lift it as easily. Contains CD and DVD digipack, 3 times exclusive 10-inch vinyl editions featuring live recordings from Deep Purple's 2022 tour, exclusive LP size booklet with all song lyrics, exclusive Deep Purple collector's t-shirt, size XL. I was wondering about that one because they didn't ask for a size. Art print and a lanyard. Oh, this is just
why do they assume that all Deep Purple fans are XL? What if I wanted one? I'm a size M.
I think it's probably a safe bet. I think they're playing it safe. There's probably not going to be a lot of mediums and women's smalls. Okay. So, oh wow, this is really nice. So you get the little presentation here, the t-shirt,
Nice.
CDs. Okay, so the CD DVD digipack =1. We've got my lanyard. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Put the golden ticket on if you got it.
Yeah, right. I just hang it from there. Is this the golden ticket? Oh, this must be the guitar pick.
Oh, it looks like a wet nap.
It does. Are there ribs in here? Or chicken wings? Let's see here. Okay. Oh, a Roger Glover and a Simon McBride pick.
Nice.
Very cool. Roger Glover's is like a triangular, and Simon's is more of that kind of traditional. And they've got the little logo on there, and they put them back in their little protective sleeve. The t-shirt, of course.
Nice.
Then we get the 10-inch vinyls, which all kind of stacked, go together here, and they kind of continue on. I don't have enough room here.
Nice.
There's 3 of those. My goodness. The art print, which is the kind of the theme that they had from the singles, and the 180 gram vinyl here. Come on, you. Get out of there. I can't get it out, guys. Here we go. It's almost like it was glued in there. Oh, it's nice. It's got a gatefold. Whoop. So very nice. Wow, it's heavy. Maybe it is the 80,000 gram. I should get this art print framed. But yeah, wow, this is cool. There's a really nice collection of stuff here. I'm going to try to reassemble it together. Oh, wait, where's the lyric? They said there was a lyrics booklet, right? Huh. I don't see a lyrics booklet in here. Unless it's like an insert in the vinyl or something. I don't know. Did they shortchange me here? Okay. All right. I'll put that back together. Very cool. Very nice. I think I have another one coming from Amazon. Maybe that one will have the golden ticket. Who knows? All right. A weird place to put the unboxing, but there you go. And I think we're ready to get on to the next track, which
Yeah.
is another one that we are familiar with, that we've heard before. And this one is Lazy Sod.
I love this riff.
Yeah, it's great.
I know it's I feel like it's been compared to a Ritchie style riff.
Yep.
Maybe kind of a slowed down burn.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What was I thinking about when I crashed last night? The oceans are rising, and I can't do a thing about that. So it's hardly surprising I built a rock for me and my sleek black cat man. What was I thinking about when I crashed last night? Oh yeah. Turn off the gas, don't forget to switch off the lights. That's alright, 'cause I'm a lazy son and I'm hot. Oh yeah.
I love this chorus.
Yeah, me too.
Me 'cause I'm a lazy son. You can like it or not. Yeah, I'm guessing not.
I love the dynamics in his solos and the way he'll like hit like a partial pinch harmonic and let it sounds like he lets the feedback take over. It sounds so good.
Oh, listen to Roger back there. Very Ritchie.
That was very, very Ritchie.
This whole song is giving me a real Mark III type of energy.
Yeah, the way they come out of it here, right here too.
Oh, that was great.
I love what he's doing on that bass.
Yep.
You know, it'd be great if Ritchie pre-ordered the album and he gets the gold ticket. He just throws in that. It's funny because he said freaking earlier on the album, but he drops an F-bomb on this one. Nice.
Yeah.
Tight rockin' ending. All right. Okay. Lazy Sod. John, you lazy sod. What do you rank this one?
Oh,
Ew.
all due respect. All due respect, I'm gonna give this lazy sod 4.5.
Oof.
Love this song. This was from like I looked at the title and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, because it's like you never know with the title like that. It's very whimsical. Yeah, I guess, but man, it just did.
But if the follow-up song was Bloody Wanker.
Bloody hell. Well, I mean, they have like later on what is it, Bleeding Obvious.
Yeah, another very very British sounding song. Well, it's kind of they're reclaiming their Britishness now that they've got everyone's from the UK.
But yeah, I don't know why this exudes such a a Mark III energy, even though most of the key players from Mark III are not even in this.
All
But
except one.
yeah, exactly. But it really has a classic Deep Purple circa like 74, 75 type vibe to it. It's got a great riff. Um, Everybody sounds great. The solos are great. Um, yeah, I mean it's just like it's a really cool song. It's really just this is in my wheelhouse of things to like. Just something you could put on and like bop your head to. You know, you have the outro solo, you have just a great riff that you can just like kind of not headbang, but just bop your head to. And again, very familiar sounding riff, very cool. It's just it's great. I love where the band is with this one.
Yeah, and I like it lyrically. I'm not like I never considered the Mark III thing that you mentioned, but now I'm just trying to think of it as like if Coverdale and Hughes were singing it. I was like, what was I thinking about when I crashed last night?
Well, I was thinking there was I think maybe the core actually, yeah, that's true. I feel like it would be like Hughes would be could sing the verse and Coverdale would sound very comfortable singing the chorus if you were putting it in that light. But I
Yeah,
mean,
but yeah, Coverdale would not be okay with the subject matter. Is like, hey, there's nothing about having sex with women in this song. It's just about being lazy. I can't get my ass out of bed. And he's like, then he'd have to be like, there's gotta be some other reason he can't get out of bed. Not because he's lazy. Yeah, I like the song lyrically. It's really cool. I like the don't mind me because I'm a lazy sod. You can like it or not. And then he's like, I'm guessing not, It's like, ha. And then of course he ends it with like just by saying so fucking what. But yeah, cool song. I also give this a 4.5. Great. A triumph, I think. Very, very good
Yes.
track.
I would say out of the first three, I mean, it's obviously my favorite out of the first three that were released,
Yep.
pre-released. Sorry.
Yeah, this was my favorite. I was like, oh, to me, they like kept getting better. Like I liked Portable Door.
Oh yeah.
I really liked Pictures of You, and then I loved this one. Portable Door was you speaking about the title. That was another one. Like Portable Door. It's a weird song title. Like I didn't know what to make of it before we heard it,
Well, it's kind of I guess if you think about it, like I don't know. I even consider when you think about Deep Purple and they're just like, oh yeah, they were just this 60s band. It's like it doesn't feel right to say that just because when they really came into their own, it was really the 70s.
Sure.
So because when you say, oh yeah, they were a 60s band, you think of, the Iron Butterfly and the Grateful Dead or whoever, you like bands, Cream, bands from the 60s or whatever other bands might be still around now, like Uriah Heep, you know. When you say, oh yeah, they were a band that started in the 60s, it's almost like it doesn't even feel accurate saying that. But
No.
Portable Door sounds like a really kind of 60s title, and a lot of their artwork is very like kind of 60s-ish. Even though this, Mark II and, really the Gillan Glover years were rooted in the 70s, where most of that hippie kind of stuff was and imagery was kind of behind them, and they were doing more of the harder edged early 70s, later 60s, early 70s stuff. But
yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah, I picked the Portable Door would be like a super psychedelic song.
yeah,
Like with
yeah,
the boop, 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 like those like the like kind of like funky 60s organ and
yeah.
the girls in the video dancing like this. Yeah, exactly. Hey man, you got a total groovy portable door, man. It's like
Portable Door.
Okay.
But yeah.
So the next track up. Oh, before we move on. So this one is probably the most public song that Gillan has been about, but he's told the story in some interviews. So in the in a recent interview in Rocks magazine, he says, recently, a young journalist asked me how many songs I had written in my life. I replied that the last time my assistant counted 20 years ago, it was over 500. I felt quite accomplished until she pointed out Dolly Parton's 5,000 songs, calling me a lazy sod.
Wow.
I couldn't help but agree and wrote down the exchange in my notebook. So it kind of, that was the, being called a lazy sod for that is kind of what broke it down.
I like that.
It's kind of funny. Okay, next track up is called Now You're Talking.
I really like that. Really like that intro too.
Yeah. This is very Gillan.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like a very Gillan band song. Yeah, this song rocks. It's got a great drive behind it. Yeah, I love how he's doing that a lot now.
Yeah.
On this album.
It's like he unlocked a new trick. Like they just go to this little shuffle drum beat for the solo. It's almost like the Highway Star intro.
Speaking of which.
Yep.
Very melodic, very cool. Love this.
It's like one of those things I could predict this was going to happen next, but it's like when he kind of does doubles up on the notes. So good.
Oh hell yeah.
Then he turns into Ace Frehley for a second.
Yep. Then he kind of turns into Joe Satriani.
Yeah, right? Little Snake Charmer sort of solo here.
Yep.
A very Rainbow Rising feel on that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you've got this classic Deep Purple sound. You've got the little out there Rainbow Rising tone to it. You've got Gillan Band elements. It's really pulling from a lot of buckets.
Yeah. Love how this song is ending.
I think that's our first fade out of the album.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like they were doing more there, but maybe they decided to kill it early. But.
I don't know. I just before we rate it, the one problem I have with that song is that they built up, and then they should have just ended it instead of fading out. But
yeah,
I thought the fading out was an interesting choice, but man, that would have made the song absolutely perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of very tight, intricate endings on this, so there must have been a reason for it. But yeah,
Yeah.
good track. All right, John, how do you rank Now You're Talking?
Well, I'm giving it a 5.
Woo!
Hey-oh, I was like, I don't know, should I be giving a new Deep Purple song a 5 right out of the gate?
Is it right? We have to check with the rules committee and see is that okay? Can we do that?
No, this has gotta be like my favorite song on the album. Just, I mean, there's so much good stuff in this song. It just right out of the gate, there's so much good stuff going on here um from the riff to the lyrics to, like, I mean, I'm wondering if, like, I would really hope that they would play this live, but I feel like it would be really, like, hard for Gillan to keep up with it, because it's just like this onslaught of just lyrics and singing, like all the, like, through, all the verses and the chorus.
I guess it just matters if he can survive the part where he's like, "Oh, MFG." Like, can he, like, if he does that night after night, is it going to blow his vocal cords out? Like, I know there's ways you can deliver lines like that, like if you're a trained vocalist, that it won't bother you, but I don't know if he's ever had that. He's just a natural, amazing, talented singer. So I don't know if he knows the vocal control to do that. But he's probably, I'm sure, it sounds to me like he probably has worked with people more recently to just kind of say, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's my age. Here's all of this. How can I sing in a way to preserve my voice best?
But I
Because
mean,
it seems like he's really smart about how he uses it.
yeah, and I mean, that could just be a studio track. It could be something he did in the studio. It had a really no laughing in heaven quality
Mm.
to it, because I mean, that's the only song I could think of where he did, what, like a whole friggin' verse singing with like that really screechy tone,
Yep.
or using it like very often. But it was a very Gillan influenced, I think, type of track. But it was just, it was heavy, it was melodic. Simon kind of did a tour of, like, almost like the solo was a tour of some awesome guitar players,
Yeah. Yeah.
styles, type of thing. And yeah, and even like even Pacey slowing down, doing that shuffle
Yeah.
beat like you're talking about, was
Yep.
just like, I mean, there's stuff in here that's the techniques are not difficult. It's not anything that any good musician couldn't do. You know what I mean? Like, I probably could have, I could probably learn some of, I could do the beginning of Simon's guitar solo, you know what I mean? But it's like, that's not the point of how
Yep.
technically difficult it is. It's just like the ideas that they're getting in here and getting down on tape are just sound, fantastic.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, and the more I hear Simon, like when he joined the band, one of the first things I did was go out and get his listen to some of his solo albums, and I got
Mhm.
he had just recently, I think it was right about when they announced it, or maybe it was shortly after he released his most recent album, and I listened to it and I was like, man, I just, it's got some hard rock elements. It's mostly more bluesy, but his playing is not just standard blues playing, so I just wanted to listen and get a sense for him. And I'm like, this guy's incredible. And then seeing him live and then seeing what he's done on this album,
Yeah.
is just inspiring to see somebody that's got that level of chops. I mean, we all know how brilliant Steve Morse was and Tommy Bolin and Blackmore. And I mean, but those have been known quantities forever. So it, at least for us, so hearing this, quote, new guy come in, who of course has been playing probably for 30 years and probably
Right.
more, and just blow everyone away and be new to so many people is just, it's truly inspiring.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that this time around, haha,
Aha.
this time around, that I'm on board on the ground level, getting in
Mhm.
with the new Deep Purple guitar player, because basically Ritchie left, Steve Morse came in, and I just basically just turned my head the other way, and I wish that I
Yeah.
didn't. So
Yep.
I'm really happy that while they're still going and they have a great guitar player who luckily I just love his style. I don't doubt that they would have picked somebody great, but I'm just really glad that from the start, I've been on board and paying attention to this guy, seen him in concert, listening to the new album, and just really getting immersed in what they're doing right now.
Yeah, 100%. I think you've pushed me up to a 4.5 for this one. I was gonna go with a
Alright.
4, but yeah, just listening to it fresh and with you, it's amazing. But pretty cool that after all these years we can sit down and kind of experience a new album together by Deep Purple. So
Yeah.
okay. Next track up is called Money to Burn.
I hear a blackbird sing. I feel a scorpion sting. Whatever gets to
Yeah, kind of like a scorpion sting. It sounded like kind of had a little, maybe it was a little merms there. I don't know.
dig up a treasure chest. Step in a hornet's nest. Whatever gets to me first. Well, that's alright. I've worked. I got no money. I got no cash. I got no moolah. I got no stash.
So it's not money to burn like on the butterfly ball. It's no money to burn.
Right. Yeah, it's the opposite.
Or was that the Wizards convention? I forgot.
Wizards convention. Yeah, it's funny because that's the first. When I typed up the lyrics to this song in Google, David Coverdale's song came up first.
Yeah.
Under a burning sun, I make a dive.
Like he says, I got no money, I got no cash, I got no moolah. That was very Morse
Yeah.
sounded. He's using the modulation wheel in like a weird way. He's almost making it out of tune on purpose. Yeah, Don's just going synth crazy on this album. I love it.
No complaints here. Funny, he says moolah. Moolah.
Our UK folks will have to say, do you call it moolah? Because we call it moolah.
Love that part. Yeah, that part is really great to groove to. Da-na-na, ba-da-da-da-ma.
Yeah.
Very cool. And they do a variation on it too, so it's not the same each time they play.
Right. John, no money to burn?
No, currently no.
I
Money to spend, but none to burn.
have,
So.
yeah, I don't even have money to spend.
Hey.
Yep.
I give this one a 3.5.
All right.
I think I think it's another strong track. I think some of the tracks, the tempos feel a little slow
Mhm.
I don't know. I might have liked this if it were, I don't know, sped up just a little bit, a little bit faster maybe. But
Put it
I
on
mean, I still,
45 so I can dance to it.
yeah. Um, but no, it had some cool stuff in it. Um, some again cool guitar work, like I just mentioned, that thing after the verse. Ba-na-na, ba-da-na-na-na.
Yep.
Just very, very simple stuff. Like um even the verse where he kind of just where he kind of bends it up, they bend that note up, da na na ba-na,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yep.
like just a little bit. So they're still throwing in some cool stuff, some subtle stuff in here that's really good.
All right. I will give this one a 3. I like it. I don't think I mean, spoiler alert, I don't think there's anything bad on this album. But yeah, I would say this is probably probably the weakest track in my opinion, and again, it's relative. I don't think it's a bad song or weak at all, but yeah, it's just I'd say it's a good solid song, but you know, an album track, maybe one of the more forgettable ones, but still grooves along. You're getting almost a full hour worth of music on this album, and it's just it's killer. So
Yep.
all right, now we have to move on to the penultimate track. Track number 12, I'll Catch You.
The other ballad.
Exactly. And I'd say this is more close to an actual ballad than the other one.
I guess that it's to be expected when I have to talk this way. When I have to speak in tongues, I want to say what can be said. I have to keep a straight face when I'm breaking up inside. If you know who
I love what
I thought
Airey is doing with like the electric piano or the Rhodes, whatever it is. Sounds great.
dream about you every night, but you're just beyond my reach. For now, you'll never know my touch, and we shall never meet. Mother Nature's keeping the socks on. Father Time's gonna be late. Ships at night are passing silently, and our love will have to wait. My bags are always ready, my keys are in the car. Anytime you want to jump, I'll catch you in my arms.
Has a little bit of a kind of like Wasted Sunsets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Good
it
call.
kind of feels like one of those songs. Not that it sounds like it, but it feels like one of that kind of quote unquote ballad.
Damn.
Yes, I'll catch you in
Great
Really
stuff.
great solo.
I'll catch you in my arms. Anytime you want to jump, I'll catch you in my arms.
kind of a cool idea for having this before the final track on the album.
Yeah.
Have this little wind down. I particularly like the line, "Mother Nature's keeping her socks on." I don't know what it means, but I like it. Does that
like he was wearing the sock back in that photo?
Yeah. I hope she's not wearing it like that. Or socks.
Hey, over tatas?
Yeah, what do they call those?
Tassels?
Like pasties? Is it? They got they got the little tassels that swing.
Yeah.
Are they called
yeah.
pasties?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll catch you. What do you think?
3.5.
All right.
I think another great song. I feel like you got to be in the mood for it. I definitely don't think I wasn't in the mood for it, but it's definitely a great slower song, and had that kind of, like I said before, Wasted Sunsets type of feel to it, that the emotion more than how the song was structured, or, oh yeah, that part sounded like that. Not really, just the feel of it, which kind of has that, I guess, going off. You could picture going off into the sunset, or disappearing into the horizon type of feel to it, like that Wasted Sunsets had that. Our Lady had that.
Yeah.
That was kind of the type of song that it made me feel like it was. So yeah, not bad, just kind of middle of the road, maybe a little bit more, but I think you like you said before, there's no bad songs on here, just ones that are better than others. So
I will match your 3.5 on this one. I like it. And it's a good, it's just over 3 minutes. It's a really short song, especially it sounds like a song that's going to be, it sounds like a song that's going to be more involved, or like build up more and turn into something more, but no, it's pretty simple. Just get that one section in the chorus, the great guitar solo, really great guitar solo.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So, if they had tried to stretch this into 4.5, 5 minutes, you might have been like, okay, that's like too much. But so it's good. It's like a little short breather break before what's about to come next, which is the last song on the album. Well done. Yeah, I was almost, when I was reading the lyrics, I was trying to like think about what it might have been about. And one of the things, that's happened since the last album is, Gillan's wife passed away. And I was, this is the song that kind of made me think the most, like maybe it would be about her. It's saying some things like, we'll never meet, but there's things like about I dream about you every night, but you're just beyond my reach, and my bags are always ready, my keys are in the car, like, so it's almost like he's, again, I could be completely reading into this, but it's like almost like, is he saying like, I'll be there with you soon, just wait for me, sort of thing, which could be a really touching sentiment, obviously, but yeah. I could be totally reading into it, but it's other than that, I don't know what it would necessarily be about. So anyway, that is I'll Catch You, which brings us to the final track on the album, which is, if I can find it, the previously mentioned Bleeding Obvious.
Very Iron Maiden.
Yep. I feel like it. We haven't gotten there yet, but it vacillates between Iron Maiden and Dream Theater, which is.
You could be like, "Come on, you motherfucker!" Very cool.
It started off so easy, and now it's clear as mud. Your life is complicated, and I'd help you if I could. Time is slipping by, and things are moving fast. You gotta
It's weird. It's kind of using. It starts off as very proggy and then goes into like a 1-4-5 progression for the verse, which is like the most normal thing possible. That's that little chugging. Throws in those extra. Maybe he just goes 1-4-1 on the verse. Unless the chorus is the 5, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I love hearing Roger go up on the neck there. It sounds awesome. It's funny, it's like a Morse progression with a blackmore solo on top of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little that snake charmer going on.
Oh. I didn't notice those bells before.
Me neither.
Now it's like the Dream Theater rush almost. This really reminds me of something, and I've not been able to figure it out yet.
I know what it is.
What?
It is. It's from Butterfly Ball, but I forget the
Really?
I forget the song.
You started so well, but then went off on a trip around the world.
Sir, what is is it Sir Maximus Mouse?
Yeah, I can hear that a little bit. It's something else I'm thinking of.
No, it's
I'm kind of a.
Harlequin Hair.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking
Okay.
about it the other day.
Yeah, okay, good call.
Too many little creatures that I have to remember from Butterfly
Yeah,
Ball.
which creature was it? Magician Moth? I'm a sucker for that they did that little thing and they all harmonized, it all adds up to one. It's like, I'm a sucker for that. This late in the album, mentioning the album title. Listen to this is crazy.
I know you think I'm stupid, but you got to give me time. I'm sitting with my hand up, but you send me to the back of the line. I hear, but it's all too much for the likes of little old me. You say this and that, who knows what is so hard to believe.
Almost sounds like a Megadeth chugging behind that, the way that he's picking those chords out.
Yeah.
Trying to think of the song on Rust in Peace it's reminding me of. Like Five Magics, I think. But
All right.
I love that chord too. I don't know what that is, but oh, Freaking ending.
Yeah. Oh,
It's crazy. It's just so cool because there's parts of that song that are just like, I mean, this album's only, been out for hours at this point, but there's parts of it that sound like, oh, this just sounds like typical of this album, and then all of a sudden it goes into these super technical parts. It's like the arrangement of that whole song is just crazy. But anyway, John,
yeah.
what do you give? Is it bleeding obvious that what you're going to give this, or should I guess?
Well, you probably
I
saw
won't guess.
4.
4. All right.
4. My initial impression was not that high. But after giving it a few more listens, I definitely think it stands up with the stuff that's on the rest of the album. And I like how they got really, for lack of a better word, really proggy on this, and adding a lot of different parts and just kind of finishing off the album on a little more of a involved tune than something really kind of more straightforward, like Lazy Sod or Now You're Talking, or something like that, which is more of a straightforward rock tune. This one just has a lot of different elements and parts to it, and I like that. I think it was a cool way to end the album. I think that they made a good choice.
All right. Well, I'm doing it. I'm giving it a 5.
Hi-oh!
It's now I remember this one. So we had listened to this, like I said, we listened outside. I was running in and out and doing burgers and stuff, and I kind of didn't catch every second of every song. But this is one of the ones that I remember. I don't know if the song woke me up, but in the middle of the night. But I woke up and it was playing, and I'm like, "What is?" I was like, "Did this go on? Did it?" I was listening to it from the special link they sent me. So, but my brain was like, "Oh, you were listening on Spotify," and then it was like, "Oh, you like Deep Purple? Well, maybe you'll like Dream Theater or put something else like that on." But I'm like, "Oh no, I'm still listening to this album. This is crazy." So I don't know if it was just that experience of being in that like dreamlike state of listening of the first time I really picked up on it, but. Yeah, it's one of those ones I didn't realize at the time it was the last track on the album either, because it was just going on loop. So when I found out this was the last track on the album, like, I really like this as an album closer. I think it's really great. Some really nice melodic parts to it. And it's just, I really dig it. I'm a fan of things like that. I think they could have had fewer parts and made the song longer and it would have suffered, but it's got so much going on and they cram it into 5 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever it is. Very short song for what they managed to cram in there. So really dig it. Okay. So yeah, I'm hoping, usually when I try to put together show notes for these episodes, I love to get quotes from the different band members about each song. Only had those real 2 quotes from Gillan about Old Fangled Thing and Lazy Sod. So I'm hoping some more interviews come out in the coming weeks so we can kind of clip some more thoughts from all of them about these songs, because I'd like to know more about the writing process behind them, what they're about lyrically, things like that. But before we move on, John has to do one thing, which is to fumble with the spreadsheet. And while he does that, I am going to thank our next level of patrons. And that level of patrons, of course, is... Oh, I see that there's something wrong with the spreadsheet. Let's see here. It doesn't like something here. That's the other thing when you're making a spreadsheet in Excel and the name of the album is =1, it really messes everything up.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Because
Or anything with like the backward slash, because then it looks like a date.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it automatically will be say like August 31st, and you're like, no, you dummy.
What is the there was a great meme about like what do Excel and like what do Excel and like loser guys have in common? It's like they misinterpret things as being a date.
Yep.
But let's see if I can figure this out while we or else let's see here.
Nate'll fumble first, and then I'll
Yeah,
fumble.
I know.
afterwards.
We'll take turns fumbling. Oh wait, is it this? Do I have to do this? No, it just, it doesn't understand. It doesn't understand that this is an album title.
Ugh.
You know what I'm going to do for now? I'm going to change it to spelled out equals 1 and see if that fixes it. Excel is just not right. Deep Purple is too advanced for Excel. We're going to need an update to the... Aha, that worked. Okay. Well, John fumbles with the spreadsheet after I'm done fumbling with it. He can do all the sorting now. I am going to thank our next level of patrons, which of course is our... oh yeah, we're going to go back here. The core level patrons coming in at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier. Michael Vader at the $6.99 New Nice Price tier. We have Spike the Rock Cat and Sugar Tea at the episode $6.66 tier. We have Steve Coldwell, Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving and Charles Meadows at the $6.65 Almost Evil tier. We have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith at the $5.99 The Nice Price tier. Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have Newt Morton Johansson.
It's a great life if you know we can.
At the $5 Moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Oleksiy the Perfect Stranger Slepikov, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zerns, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf,
My Czechoslovakian is not so good.
Coyote Bongwater, John Maselli,
Talk about your worlds colliding. Boom!
Sarah Sanders,
No, Kelly Clarkson!
and Jelly Bean. Thank you so much to all of you for your support of the podcast. Yeah, Planets Colliding is appropriate too for this. The imagery on this album cover. Boom. All right. Well, John, you know what time it is.
Well, John's busting out the spreadsheets, and he's fumbling with the tabs. Oops, he sorted it the wrong way. Now he can't tell what is bad.
All right, John, where does Deep Purple equals 1 fall in our ratings spreadsheet?
Well, happy to say that it falls in the upper quarter of the spreadsheet.
Wow.
So we got it at a 7.92. Very little variance between us, and it's actually has achieved the same ranking as Clear Air Turbulence. Very interesting that I mentioned something from that before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's between so it's equal to that. Rainbow Down to Earth is below those two, and then one above is the Michael Schenker group.
Wow.
Just by like a little bit. So,
And which was a recent discovery for us.
yeah. So I would say for a great showing for a new release, that it's up there among so many classic releases.
Absolutely. And when you and also, this, I guess if you rank them, it's in the upper quarter, but it's something like number 30 something. If you were ranking them, but this at the upper quarter, the difference is tiny. If you go all the way to the top, you're getting things that are like 8.52 or 8.5, and this is almost 8 at 7.94. So yeah, the variance between those albums is minuscule at this point.
Right. So I mean, right now, it would be like saying, I lost it. There we go. Yeah, it would be like saying like I would want to put this on as much as in rock, or
Mhm.
You Are the Music, or Last in Line.
Yeah, that's
It's like,
pretty incredible. And yeah, you see like, I mean, if one song had gotten a 0.5 higher on one track, it would probably jump 4 spots up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean, but looking at the spreadsheet and seeing, like, being able to see this and Machine Head like in the same view.
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty far apart, but not really. But just looking at that and seeing like that, for instance, being able to see that like in the same, um, having it sorted and kind of scrolling and being like, oh wow, I can see them in like the same like page. Um, pretty cool, pretty good showing. To me, that indicates that the songs were strong, the production was strong. I'm glad we enjoyed it. I'm even more happy that I was able to hear it more ahead of time, because I think, for some older albums, like, if I haven't heard it in a long time, or there's something that I haven't heard at all, then that could have hurt
Yeah.
the ratings here. I don't know if I would have been able to rate them as accurately.
I think you have to give it, it's kind of like having one bite of food and ranking it. You have to really get in there. And I think, like, for example, when we did the Whoosh episode, it was our first listen. We were listening to it for the first time. And I feel like I listened to that over the rest of the course of the summer. And I looked back at the ratings and I was like, man, we were really not super fair to that album, because there's so much really good stuff on it. But, we did need a little time to digest it. I feel
Yeah.
like if we did Whoosh now, it would have a seriously elevated ranking over how we originally did.
Well, maybe when all the albums are done, then maybe we can go back and do a Whoosh redux.
Well, we did, but we just didn't rank them. We did like a year
Well-
later.
Well, then maybe we got to do part 3, re-ranking.
Part 3. Whoosh Revisited Part 3. Yeah, but what a great album. Really couldn't be happier with it, really. The only, and I wouldn't even call it a criticism at all, but we've talked about it a million times, like, this 13 tracks is a lot of tracks. And the fact that Deep Purple can just time and again get into the studio and crank out 13 new songs is amazing. The only thing I would say is, if you had to pare this down to 10, say, there's 3 songs. I like all the tracks on this album, so I wouldn't want to lose any of them. But I think if you pared this down to like a solid 10, this could be like absolutely incredible album.
Oh yeah.
But either way, it still is. So,
Mhm.
in Classic Rock magazine, Gillan says, I didn't want to conceptualize the album, but I wanted some common thread. There's no literal connection, just a mood thing. They feel like they're all coming from the same room, which I would agree. I think they do a really good job of that in general with their albums. And then, yeah, we got a couple of reviews that were out before the album was out that we can kind of look at. And this first one is actually from, what is this? First one is from Raf Kaff, which, amazing. There was a German magazine that I was supposed to get in the mail by now, and I haven't, that did a review of it. And Raf stumbled upon it first and did a translation for us, because he's that kind of guy. So he, this review is from, shoot, what's the name of the magazine? Let's see if I have it in my reviews section here. Is it this one? No. But anyway, it's a German magazine. I've got it coming in the mail. Deep Purple = 1, a classic. When Deep Purple announced the definite departure of Steve Morse, who worked for Deep Purple for nearly 3 decades, longer than any other guitarist, and who built an era with the band that had late career highlights with new releases of new album Trilogy, Now What, Infinite, and Whoosh, you could have bet that was it for the hard rock troopers that entered the ring in 1968. However, Deep Purple have always been a band that lived and played by their own rules. The sympathy that one would like to extend to him, Morse, after the first incredulous listen is insofar no surprise. He who kept Purple alive for so long and accomplished great things but who for many played too delicately with too little power and, after all, not dominantly enough. What had happened? The gentlemen that had turned gray in dignity stand at the very front of the stage together with their new guitarist, Simon McBride, and stick their bare behinds with delight and in unison into the faces of the notorious naysayers for whom Deep Purple ceased to exist after the final exit of Ritchie Blackmore in 1993. Equals One is an inspired, hard, and playfully fresh album whose obvious guitar and sound surprises the listener and which excites with attainable songs. An album that pushes all of its classical characteristics through the filter of time. All that with a belligerent and physical presence that even the comeback album from years ago, Perfect Strangers, lacked in some places. It only takes the first 1.5 songs to be sucked deeply into Equals One. The record begins with a percussive guitar figure that goes on to become the first significant guitar riff of the Mark IX incarnation through a very poignant tonal sequence. Let's see here. I think that might be, that might be the end of it, or maybe I didn't copy and paste part of it. But actually, no, he sent it to me in Messenger here, so I'm going to open it up. But I really appreciate Raph for taking the time to really break it down. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, there's tons more. Why didn't that get in? Okay, here it is. As soon as Don Airey's meaty organ passages set in, that McBride answers forcefully with mighty rhythm salvos. The sound effects of Show Me result in some parallels to Highway Star, performed with the maturity of a band that has nearly 60 eventful business years to show for themselves. Anyhow, the organ and guitar point time and again to the legendary double Lord Blackmore, following up a bit on the side with its trudging bass, goes much further and lets the band's unbridled greed for jams shine through, from which Deep Purple shaped their songs these days. A short synth solo in the middle, an organ drum break. Ian Paice is the swing machine anyway, and simply the bomb. Then it comes with the remainder of the verse, and then when everything could well over, McBride comes along with a teeth-bearing solo as if there was no tomorrow, a dream of jam inferno, much too short for a record, that Airey rekindles time and again with his organ passages. You just have to sit down for a bit afterwards, like you have to catch your breath. So it goes on for some really, really, it breaks down some of the songs, but says, but it ends with Machine Head and In Rock do not shrink by a millimeter if one states the truth. Equals One is a classic, 10 out of 10. Wow. Heavy praise coming from, acknowledgement that there's a bunch of bums out there like to say that Deep Purple doesn't exist because there's no Ritchie, that old saw. But thanks to Raph for really taking time with it. And of course he's like, oh, there's some German things that are difficult to translate. I'm like, dude, you're doing us a huge favor. Don't worry about it. But amazing that we have so many great listeners that can translate from different languages. So really, really cool. I'll put the full text of that review in the show notes. Then there were a couple of magazine articles that I got screenshots of that had come out. Yeah, just 2, it looks like. So I can share them on the screen and then struggle to read them because the font's so small. My eyesight has gotten so much worse since we started doing this show.
Same here.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny how it doesn't get any better. Although my doctor did said it was getting better, but it gets better before it gets worse. Okay, this one is from oh shoot, what did I call it? This one is from Classic Rock Magazine. Deep Purple Equals One. They're getting older and remarkably, they're getting better again. Deep Purple's lackluster covers album, Turning to Crime in 2021, seemed to suggest that the band were finally a spent force. Then it got worse. Soon afterwards, long-term guitarist Steve Morse's noble departure to care for his ill wife meant another Deep Purple pillar had fallen. With Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, Ian Paice, and Don Airey in their 70s, nobody could have forgiven them for catching up on a few Midsummer Murders afternoon repeats. Instead, they doubled down and knuckled down. Morse was replaced by a young pup, 45. When when we were kids and the Rolling Stones were doing stuff at 45, they were like, they're dinosaurs. Now it's like, a young pup at 45. It's amazing how in a generation, like the views have changed. So they talk about his background, that he was, in Sweet Savage, which is where Vivian Campbell also came from, the same band. Says the purple of equals one harks back to both their early 70s pomp and early 80s Mark II rebirth. McBride is no Ritchie Blackmore facsimile, although the chunky opening riff to Lazy Sod momentarily suggests otherwise. Instead, he brings relatively youthful energy, and when he lets loose on I'll Catch You and sizzles his way through a bit on the side, it's clear he's both his own man and the right man. Alongside McBride, the other band members are reinvigorated too. Gillan's voice is richer than it's sounded in years, and while he plays the grumpy old man from time to time, and then they quote, "Give it a rest, it's not that complicated," he commands on the kitchen sink closer, bleeding obvious. He's intermittently tender, not least on Pictures of You. Meanwhile, Airey's upfront keyboards are as vital as his predecessor John Lord's once were. Pace-wise, the very moment Purple might have been expected to emulate When a Blind Man Cries, aside from the big ballad If I Were You, they gallop like Black Knight, not least on the standout Portable Door, their finest moment this century. Some frisky cooking backing vocals on Sharpshooter add a new dimension, but at this point, nobody seriously wants another perpendicular style curveball. An equal one suggests they don't need one. Just when you thought arguably Britain's finest rock band had nothing more to give, along comes what may be their final rebirth. They're taking it on the road, of course. Can anything stop them? Hopefully not. That was written by John Azelwood, and it looks like he gives a 9 out of 10 red squares.
All right. Well, that's good.
So we got a 10 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10. And then the final review that we have at the moment, because I'm sure a bunch more will be rolling in this week, is from Power Play magazine, and this one's unfortunately kind of horrible. It's a little
Very blurry.
pixelated, yeah. A new Deep Purple album is always something to look forward to, and they never disappoint. Even by the standards of their last few albums, have been exceptional. Really, ever since Bob Ezrin took over production duties, the band have been on fire. Equals One is the Purple's 23rd studio album, and it is another excellent piece of work. Between the previous album and this one, guitarist Steve Morse has stepped down from the band. So in his place, we have Simon McBride. Steve is a tough act to follow, but Simon seemingly does it with ease. The album opens with a staccato little riff that leads into Show Me. It's a bit different for Purple with off-kilter rhythms, but still a great opener. The more traditional Purple shows up with songs like Portable Door, which in its first single, it always reminds me of Pictures of Home for some reason. Well, I think everybody... There are plenty of highlights on Equals One, with Now You're Talking being top of the pile. It's an apt title, and anyone who hasn't been convinced by this point should find themselves repeating the song title. As with any Purple album, the musicianship is off the scale, and the interplay between McBride and Don Airey really does bring to mind the glory days of Blackmore and Lord. Paice and Glover provide a rock-solid foundation, and Ian Gillan's vocals are excellent throughout. So put together, it's all Equals One more classic Deep Purple album.
Yes.
And
it gets 10 PowerPoints.
Oh, I guess that's what that means. This was written by Martin Howell.
So
PowerPoints.
10 out of 10.
It just says 1 through 10. So yeah, I guess that's a 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good.
They're killing it. Unbelievable. Killing it with 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and 9 out of 10. Usually we like to throw in some negative Nellies, but we don't have any yet. So I'm sure they'll be coming.
Good. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear like what any negativity is. They should have given it up 30 years ago. Oh, okay. Thanks.
I want to see the I want to see a 1970s style Rolling Stone review. Yeah. Or one of those guys that likes to like alliterate everything. The perpetual perpetude of the purple people ponchos. All that crap. Okay. So let's before we wrap up, let's thank our final round of patrons.
And do Postcards from the Edge.
Oh, shoot. Well, let's do Postcards from the Edge first because,
all right.
Yeah, here we go. We don't want this to interfere with the closing music. All right, time for that segment. Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut. Do you have any more postcards?
I have one more.
Oh, okay. I got 5.
5.
They've just been piling up at my door. So this one is, it says Book of Kells.
Okay.
And it says, hey, Nate, greetings from Dublin, Ireland. Here's a book of Taliesin, and then it's crossed out. And it says Kells for you. The O Roback. And it's all these different, all of these different Christian tapestries, it looks like, almost like the Virgin and Child, the 4 symbols of evangelists, Matthew the 27th. So lots of stuff there. And then got this one. This is an old postcard right here.
All right.
And this is Harbor Scene from Fort Barrington, Montserrat. Before Gillan and Glover got there, it looks like.
Uh-huh.
And this says, Nate, wishing you the best of the summer solstice, Peter. So yeah, Montserrat, it says. then we've got this one. And this is a reference to something we were talking about in an old episode. And this is... Did you see this?
I think so.
Do you recognize it?
Yeah. Yeah, what is that?
It's E.A. Marcoux, which we had talked about. E.A. Marcoux and Son, which is it's a corner in my hometown.
Yeah, I recognize it.
Right across the street from the Blockbuster Video. Well, where it used to be. And we had referenced it on a song. I think we were talking about, what was it? Mumford and Sons, and I talked about E.A. Marcoux and Sons. So somebody got a nice shot of it, who I think was Rich, but this one says, Nate, next time you're in town, stop by to see my sons play their banjos. Signed EA. So I got this one in the mail, and it's just like, you see that, and it's like, this is like my whole life is my childhood driving by this building. It's still there. I can't believe it.
Jesus.
All right, why don't you do one?
All right. So I have I got this one right here, which is
Okay.
I can't well, first of all, I can't see it, so I'm gonna have to. It's Queechee Gorge, Queechee.
Queechee Gorge?
Queech Gorge. I don't know. But
Quiche
anyways,
Gorge? Quiche?
anyways, it's this is John and Nate. How gorge is this? Might be a good spot for John to go diving after the Blackmore's night show.
It's like a bridge over
It's like that's where I'm gonna jump off of.
diving.
Uh,
Actually, John would be like more like before the Blackmore's night show.
And this is from Rich No Diddy Shaylor. So thank you, Rich.
No Diddy. Well, maybe there's a Diddy that's going to be visiting him in August. We'll see.
You better hope.
I better hope. I better get my act together here. Holy cow! All right. I've got another one here. This is this one might look familiar too. It's travel trivia, and it's the state of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a bunch of trivia on it, and it says, Nate, found your lost hurdy-gurdy there in Northampton, Peter. And then it's signed by Steve, by you, by Mark, by Rich. Wish you were here, man, by Eddie. You are missed. Not by us, though, Rich. And then, yeah, so it's got a bunch of Massachusetts trivia on it. Should maybe save it for a future episode. There's 10 Massachusetts. I'll give you a little taste. The first trivia. Oh, it says we are here. It's showing exactly where you guys were. And I'm like the weatherman trying to point in the opposite direction. The first trivia question is: Tanglewood is famous for what annual event?
I don't know.
The Outdoor Music Festival.
I should have known that.
Yeah, you should have known that. Maybe we'll revisit some of those. And then finally, the Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, Barcelona. It's a church. And my wife recognized that. She's been here, and it says, "Hey, Nate, here's the largest unfinished Catholic church in the world for you. Started March 19th, 1882. Not done yet. The Roback. Mailed from Dublin since I had Irish stamps." So yeah. What's the rush, right? Started in 1882. That makes the Big Dig look like nothing by comparison. Speaking of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So yeah, some great postcards. We'll probably have a bunch more at our next episode we do, since we're backing up on them.
I hope so.
Yep. I hope so too. Is it time to thank our last group of patrons here?
Yeah.
All right. Our last group of patrons. Are they last? Yes. Are they least? Not by any chance, folks. These are our foundation level patrons that keep us afloat. And it starts with none other than the £3.50 Deep Purple New York tier. At the £3 Aromatic Feed tier, we have Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the $3.33 Halfway to Evil tier, we have Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask. At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Mr. Peter Gardeau. The Prague Frog, Ian DeRosier. Mark Roback. Stuart McCord. Ivan Fjeldbu. Runar Simonsen. JJ Stenard, Ruinous Inadequacies, Corey Morissette from And the Podcast Will Rock and other fine podcasts, Ashley, Weston Supermare Pilgrim, Joe Dopefish Sigler. At the $1.71 I Want My Own tier, we have
Rich, Youngwy, Shaylor. Who the hell is that?
At the 10 kroner tier, we have Karsten Lau.
Cold, hard Danish kroner.
At the $1 made-up name tier, we have the Leaking Obvious Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel,
Blackmore tights. Who the hell is that?
Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Derple Purple, Purple Swede,
Sweet.
and David Haddam. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. Oof, I think I'm losing my voice after 4 hours of podcasting today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I lost.
How does Scott do it?
I lost the.
This would be a slow day for him.
Yeah, I know, right? He'd be like, "Wimps, I still got another 8 hours to go." Yeah. I lost the day. So thanks a lot.
You lost what day?
Today, I got nothing left. Well, actually, it's 4 o'clock now. I got plenty left, I guess.
Yeah, come on, old man. Yeah.
Nah, it's time for dinner in about an hour.
There you go. 30 minutes. You go to the early bird special.
Oily boy special.
Now that you can be a true silver fox.
Mm,
Get out there, arrive to their restaurant at 4:30.
yeah,
That's when
exactly.
That's when all the blue hairs would come to the restaurant when I was working there.
The blue hairs.
That's where I learned the term blue hair was working at the restaurant. They just because we could see from the line where we worked, you could see straight over to the entrance, to the front entrance or the side entrance or whatever it was where the customers came in. And it would be like 4:30 or so. And the cooks I worked with would be like, "Ah, here come the blue hairs." All right. Well, John, this was a blast getting into a new era of Deep Purple really starting today.
I enjoyed.
Yeah, so I'll go see if my new and it's got this documentary which I know Marcelo had posted that he was going to see it at the theater. And it's got the DVD of that documentary, All Access Areas. So
Mhm.
that'd be a fun one to watch. But
Yeah. So
right.
yeah, enjoy your new goods.
Indeed, I will. Thank you, sir. And we will be back at you again next week with more from the Deep Purple Podcast.
Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.